Good morning and welcome to this week's edition of Marquette in Motion. We're your hosts, Hallie Kilberg
and Miranda Peters. We hope that you're enjoying your day and looking forward to the end of Lent and the arrival of Easter.
So, everybody, let's hop right into today's show.
To start off, Hallie and I will be informing you on Marquette's upcoming spring musical, Beauty and the Beast, and later in the show, Luke will be here with our musical director, Mr. Jeff Tebby.
Justina will be here in segment 2 with all of the details on the 2nd and 3rd graders' field trip.
As always, the guys will bring us a sports report.
After Luke's interview, Macy and Amy will end the show by looking ahead.
So we know you're especially excited to hear that interview with Mr. Tebby and to learn about all of the exciting events coming up next week. But don't put all your eggs in one basket because there's great information in segment 2 and 1 as well.
And speaking of putting your eggs all in one basket, Easter is a very exciting time for many families, as Jesus' resurrection and new life, both symbolic and literal, is everywhere to be found.
So, what are some of our students' favorite ways to celebrate Easter? We took to the halls to find out.
Answers included spending the day at Grandma's house,
going to my cousin's for an egg hunt and a knockout tournament,
painting eggs,
finding my hidden Easter basket on Sunday morning,
waking up and going out to see what the Easter Bunny left,
coloring Easter eggs with the family,
spending time with family and friends, and getting candy,
dressing up for Mass,
spending time with cousins,
getting together with family and eating really good food,
and the Easter Vigil Mass.
Easter is certainly a beautiful time of the year, celebrating something even more beautiful.
Another thing quite beautiful coming up is the spring musical, Beauty and the Beast.
This upcoming Thursday, Friday, and Saturday, April 25th, 26th, and 27th, Marquette will perform its spring musical, Beauty and the Beast. Director, Mr. Tebby, the actors, stage crew, and various community volunteers have been working tirelessly on this production for the past couple of months.
The stage, set, and costumes are bigger and better than Marquette has ever had, and there are extensions off of the extensions, walls on hinges, and plenty of magic throughout the entire performance.
Now, we won't give too much away. We'll let Mr. Tebby do that. But we can say that it's as certain as the sun that this will be a show you won't want to miss.
You also won't want to miss segment 3, as we'll learn more about what we can expect at the performances.
And now, what's something else to expect? That we'll be right back after the break. Don't go away.
Welcome back to Marquette in Motion. Here now is Justina Denlinger with all the information on the 2nd and 3rd graders' field trip.
On Thursday, April 18th, Marquette's 2nd and 3rd grade classes under the direction of Miss Becca Draus and Miss Haley Lampy traveled to the Family Museum in Bettendorf, Iowa. The students left at approximately 8:30, and once at the Family Museum, the kids were able to work with materials and objects in the areas of science, math, technology, engineering, art, and social sciences. They explored various interactive exhibits and learned through the fun and exciting activities. The classes returned to Marquette at approximately 2:30, and I will return next week. For Marquette in Motion, this has been Justina Denlinger.
Thanks, Justina. Up next are the guys with the sports report.
Thanks, girls. We'll begin with last week's results. On Saturday, the boys' soccer team participated in the Waterloo West tournament. In their first match, they had an impressive victory over 3A Waterloo East. In the second round, our boys faced off against Pleasant Valley. They're not able to take home the win, and finally they played against Davenport West, but were also not able to take home the win. Overall, they placed 4th. On Monday, both soccer teams played against Western Dubuque at home. The girls started off the night playing against a tough team, however, they were not able to win. The boys finished off the night with a strong victory of a final score of 2-1. On Tuesday, the boys' soccer team traveled to Postville High School to face off against Postville. Even though they put up a great effort, they lost 2-1. Also on Tuesday, both golf teams had a meet against Maquoketa Valley. Here, both the girls and guys won, with senior Lauren Sieverding placing first overall for the girls with a score of 47. On Tuesday as well, the track teams traveled to Tipton for a co-ed meet. Here, sophomore Emma Callahan again broke the girls' shot put record with a throw of 31 feet. In this meet, Hallie Kilberg also placed first in a 3,000-meter run. On Wednesday night, the boys' soccer team traveled to Wahlert High School to take on Wahlert Catholic. Here, the guys put up a great fight but were not able to bring home the win. Thursday evening saw more action for track, soccer, and golf teams. Track ran in the Bellevue meet, soccer teams saw action at home against West Branch, and the golf teams traveled to Northland for a meet. But these results will travel back to you in next week's edition. For Marquette in Motion, this has been Garrett Krieg with your Marquette Sports Report.
Thanks, guys. Don't go away. We'll be back with more Marquette in Motion after the break.
Welcome back to Marquette in Motion. Here now is Luke Keys interviewing musical director Jeff Tebby.
Hello, listeners. Thank you for tuning in once again to Marquette in Motion. This is your host, Luke Keys, for the segment in which we call Meet Marquette. Today, I will be interviewing our theater director, Mr. Jeff Tebby. Mr. Tebby, thank you for being here.
Good to be here, Luke.
Now, starting right off with the questions, our musical this spring is the beloved tale Beauty and the Beast. For our listeners who are not familiar with the story, however unlikely that may be, can you give us a brief summary of the plot?
Sure. I mean, you guys are a little bit maybe young for the cartoon, but you got this character, Belle, who doesn't quite fit into her town. She's always been reading fantasy books. She dreams of a life outside. She meets up with the Beast. Belle's the beauty, I guess. She's in the castle with the Beast. The Beast learns to become more human, and they end up falling in love with each other. I guess to quote the musical, it is a tale as old as time. But if you haven't seen the cartoon, come see the show. You'll actually enjoy it quite a bit.
Now, what made you decide to do this particular musical instead of other ones?
Well, one thing, my wife for many years directed what we call Broadway Junior type shows. And Broadway Junior, when you do a show from Broadway Junior, they come with a full orchestral score, which is beneficial at Marquette, because we don't have a band program, which we should get sometime. But it comes with a full orchestral score. And Beauty and the Beast, I knew is a crowd pleaser. Every time it's ever been done in my past, I directed it once in 2008. Another theater company did it a couple years later. Always draws huge crowds because it's great music. It's great set design, it's great costumes, great special effects or whatnot. So I really wanted to give the kids at Marquette a great experience to a really big type musical with big numbers and all the kind of flash or whatnot. So Beauty and the Beast seemed like the show to do.
Haley and Miranda alluded to this earlier in the program, that this set and production is bigger than any in recent memory. Can you share how so?
That's what I hear. I guess my motto is go big or go home. Yes, we have probably the biggest extension on the stage. We took the extension that was there and we made it bigger and wider because we want everyone to see everything, and we made this huge castle type set. Yeah, I mean, to me it's like, well, that's the kind of set that we needed, but I've been hearing that, wow, this is big and huge, so I guess we'll let the audience decide.
Now, where does your vision and passion for the shows you direct come from?
It all depends. This cartoon, when it came out back in 91, was really popular back when I was in college. I think it was one of the first cartoons nominated for Best Picture, kind of the part of the Disney Renaissance back then. You all might be too young to realize that kind of started with Little Mermaid. Disney started creating these big musicals or whatnot. And it's just, it is. It's a fun show. Like I said, it gives the opportunity for a bunch of fun special effects that you might not get in a normal type production or whatnot. So the vision, though, is that we did Clue in the fall, and the Clue set was big as well. But I had the Clue set in mind when I thought about the castle. I'm like, well, we can just adapt some of the Clue set or whatnot. So I was just trying to be practical as well. So we didn't really start from scratch with this one. So we already kind of had a head start.
Now, what was the biggest obstacle you encountered in directing and producing this show?
Well, if you all remember, the start of the semester back in January, we lost a lot of class time, school time, rehearsal time because of the weather, school cancellations and whatnot. We lost a lot of music there. And it didn't really affect me per se because we hadn't started acting yet, so I didn't lose rehearsal time there. But as always, the Marquette community is great. You guys are involved in a lot. You're spread out in all a bunch of different areas. So I guess trying to find times when everyone could be at a rehearsal, that's always the ongoing struggle or whatnot. But we try to work best with everyone's time. But, we had a lot of help, and costumes turned out great, and the sets turned out great. So, we had all that taken care of. So just getting the actors together for rehearsal, I guess, would be a big obstacle.
Now, do you have a favorite scene from this year's musical?
Whenever I direct a show, I always look for the heart of a show. I can't direct a show unless I find out, well, what, is the meaning, what kind of makes this actually, work or whatnot. In this show, in the cartoon, and it's a scene that we're doing that's also in the cartoon, there's a scene where Belle and Beast are starting to get to know each other, like each other, and they're eating a meal together, and he's eating out of the bowl really sloppily like a Beast would, and the other characters, Cogsworth, Lumiere, Mrs. Potts, are, clearing their throats, telling him, come on, eat like a man or whatnot, eat with your spoon or whatnot, and he tries, but he's not used to eating with a spoon, and so Belle then picks up her bowl and says, here, I'll slurp out of my bowl too, and that starts the real connection and whatnot. So that's the real heart of the show, is that, that those two made that kind of connection. But there are also great, music numbers too. The song "Home" between Mrs. Potts and Belle, and the wardrobe. That's a great number and whatnot, and it's really touching and whatnot. So, but the bowl eating soup scene, whatever, that's the heart of the show to me.
Now, can you give us a sneak peek regarding any special effects, or do you have any behind-the-scenes fun that the audience can look for?
You're going to have to come and see it. I mean, we've got a Chip cart. We got a floating head for Chip, the character of Chip. We've got the Beast costume. We've got the Enchantress dress, which is quite impressive. We have a magic mirror, a magic rose. You got to come see all the special effects. It's going to be fun.
So Marquette's production of Beauty and the Beast will be held this Thursday, Friday, and Saturday, April 25th, 26th, and 27th, and will begin at 7 p.m. each night. Who should come to the show, and what do you hope the audience walks away with after viewing the show?
Families should come to the show. This is a show for mom and dad and all the kids. There's something for the parents, there's something for the kids, there's something for the younger kids, older kids, or whatnot. One thing we do encourage is that our audience is encouraged to come dressed as their favorite prince or princess. Now that's daughters, sons, moms, dads. You can come as your favorite character from Beauty and the Beast if you want, or your favorite Disney prince or princess. Let's add to the atmosphere of this particular show. What I want them to go away with is that this is one production, one show for sure that the entire family can enjoy, and sometimes those things are few and far between. So bring your kids, bring your parents, bring your grandparents, whatever like that. It'll be a good, fun family evening. The show will run like an hour and a half-ish, maybe an hour and 45, so not a bad way to spend a night.
Well, I think that'll do it for our interview. Thank you for being here, Mr. Tebby.
Thanks, Luke.
And thank you, listeners, for joining us once again in what we call Meet Marquette. This has been your host, Luke Keys, signing off.
Thanks, Luke and Mr. Tebby. Now here are Macy and Amy looking ahead.
On April 22nd, there will be a boys and girls soccer game at the home field starting at 4. There will also be a girls junior high track meet at Anamosa starting at 4:15, and a high school co-ed track meet at Northeast starting at 4:30.
Tuesday, there will be a boys junior high track meet at Makokata starting at 4. There will also be a boys and girls soccer game at the home field starting at 4.
On Thursday, our boys golf team will participate in a tournament at Easton Valley starting at 9 a.m.
Finally, our spring musical, Beauty and the Beast, will be performed on Thursday, Friday, and Saturday, starting at 7 each night. So come out and enjoy the show.
For Looking Ahead, this has been Macy Kramer
and Amy Sieverding for Marquette in Motion.
Thanks, girls. And on behalf of Miranda and I and all the other actors, we've been working very hard to prepare a great musical for you. We hope you'll be our guest. And thank you for being our guest today. And may you have a very blessed Easter.
For Marquette in Motion, this has been Miranda Peters.
And Hallie Kilberg.
And remember, stay informed,
Stay involved.
stay in motion.